The following is a presentation of WCTV Sports.
Understand Wadsworth's a big-time opponent. Look,
they dismantled Medina. 51-7 was the final score.
Here is the Grizzlies as they come onto the field here at Art-Wright Stadium. Good look at Bryson Hall, number 16, the freshman quarterback for the Grizzlies.
Goes over the middle.
Intercepted
by Madigan.
55-10 Wadsworth, but Wadsworth came out, handled their business, and they showed Dominique why they're one of the best teams in the area. Caught, touchdown.
These boys are in shape. These boys are strong, and they definitely are playing some quality football here this season.
He's going to get into the end zone for a touchdown. Jacob Ernest. Woo.
Good evening and welcome to Art-Wright Stadium in the excitement of the Ohio High School football playoffs. Tonight, we kick off one of the most thrilling times of the year where every snap, every tackle, and every play can mean the difference between advancing closer to a state championship or, quite frankly, headed home. Across the state, teams have worked tirelessly all season long. The hot, humid days of August, two-a-day practices, extra work before and after practice, a commitment to academics, the work done in the weight room in the off-season, improving strength, speed, power, and skill, and giving it their all each and every night this football season. Now, under the lights, it's do or die. As Ohio's best high school athletes showcase their talent, determination, and school pride. So buckle up for an electrifying night of playoff action, Wadsworth. Let's get ready for some football. Hello, folks. Mike Elkins here, along with my partner, Robert Rickenbacker. He'll join me in just a moment. And we welcome you to week number 1 of the second season from an electric Art-Wright Stadium. The 9-1 Suburban League National Conference co-champion Grizzlies welcome the 5-5 Suburban League National Conference co-champion North Royalton Bears in a rematch of last week's season finale that spoiled the Grizzlies' perfect season and determined the conference champions and propelled the Bears into the postseason. Now, the Grizzlies, they come in tonight as the 5th seed in Division II, Region 6, dropping 2 positions following the loss last Friday night to the same Bears. In North Royalton, they come in as the 12th seed, as they were previously number 14 before their victory over the Grizzlies. And folks, it is difficult in any sport to defeat the same opponent in the same season, let alone in back-to-back contests on the road. The Bears will once again have to play very well against a Grizzly team that is eager to get back on the field. And this loss, folks, does not sit well with the Grizzlies. They played well last week, but not well enough to win against the Bears team that seemed to have everything rolling offensively. Now, the Grizzlies, they are grouchy. They do not like how the regular season ended. Having an opponent celebrate a co-championship on your turf is not satisfying. This week, they have been laser-focused in practice, and they are well prepared for anything the Bears can throw at them tonight. Well, we welcome Robert into the booth, and Robert, offensively, the Grizzlies put up 37 points last week, a very respectable offensive showing, but defensively we allowed 44 points, the most all season against the vaunted Grizzly D. So what does Wadsworth need to do to flip the script on the Bears tonight and move into week number 2 in the postseason?
Thanks, partner. First, you have to tip your hat to the North Royalton Bears last week. What you have to understand is before last week's game, the Bears had only won 3 times in the last 18 meetings against the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
North Royalton came in with a confidence and a belief that they could win and pull off the upset. This belief was fueled by the week prior when they knocked off heavily favored Hudson Explorers, who took us into overtime a couple weeks back. Belief is very powerful, as we all can see. Now, with that said, Mike, you were right. The defense, which had been stellar all year long, all year, put in tough spots, always came through one way or another for us. Did not happen last week. Coming into the game last week, Grizzlies defense was only allowing 17 points a game. As you mentioned, gave up 44, 27 more points than normal. Now, same thing with yards. Gave up 244 more yards than they typically do. 79 more yards rushing, 165 more in air. The defense tonight needs to get back to the normal self. And we'll pause here for a moment for the national anthem. has to get back to their normal selves, which means putting pressure on number 3, Joe Kinney, last week, the Bears quarterback, which we saw didn't get sacked, I don't think, last week. He had plenty of time, and when you have plenty of time, you can pick a secondary apart. That means Polchek, Myers, and company should have a big night tonight. They've got to stunt. They've got to get in and put pressure on him. Now, last week we saw Calix Lemp on Piazza, who Lemp kept in check. Only 2 catches for 20 yards, but hey, there's another receiver on the other side, number 88, Calarco, did the damage to the Grizzlies. 8 catches for 210 yards and a touchdown. Their running back, Glasgow, carried the rock 26 times for 176 yards. Defense, our Grizzly defense was led by Jacob Ernest, 10 tackles. We saw him. He was exhausted at the end of the game last week, playing both ways like he did. He was hopefully had a good week of rest and a good week of practice. We're going to need him tonight. Haller and Madigan both had 8 tackles as well. Lemp, 2 pass breaks up, and Troy Myers caused a fumble as well. Offensively, led by Cooper Gray, who's been stellar since Madigan stepped out with the high ankle injury. 38 carries last week for 216 yards, 1 touchdown, a 5.7 yard average. 1 catch for 38 yards. He can do it all.
Yeah, he's averaging 25 carries, 208.3 yards a game in 4 games since Gavin Madigan went out with the injury. That's a phenomenal effort by the junior running back.
Absolutely. He's stepped up big when his offense needed him, and he's done great. Cooper Gray, awesome back there. A little lightning. Hopefully we're going to get Thunder in the backfield here tonight. Thunder is number 2, Gavin Madigan.
We'll take a look at the playoff history between these programs. North Royalton 7 times in the Ohio High School Athletic Association football playoffs, and you see Wadsworth 16 in their records now. North Royalton, all of their appearances in the football playoffs under Coach Chuli. And the first appearance was back in 2007. And you see Wadsworth, its regional finalist years of 99, 03, 11, and 18. And Wadsworth at home for playoff games, 7-2.
7-2. Last year we lost to Medina here, and before that was Cleveland Heights.
Cleveland Heights, yeah.
Cleveland Heights. So Grizzlies tough at home, and it's going to be even tougher for the North Royalton Bears here. 2 weeks in a row, like you mentioned, back-to-back weeks. That's tough to beat the same opponent twice.
Yeah, we had a chance to talk with Coach Chuli before tonight's game here, and we were joking with him. We said, you've had 2 weeks to prepare for this game.
Yeah, and he was thinking it was a little deja vu, something left over from trick or treat, going on Halloween that is playing the same team twice, and that's tough.
And here come the Wadsworth Grizzlies as they take the field at Art Wright in week number 1 of the second season. The 5th seed, co-champions of the Suburban League National Conference, looking to advance to week number 2. And this is a team, Robert, that is fired up. They're not happy with how the ball game ended last week, but then on the other side of the field, you have North Royalton, who is playing with full confidence now.
Full confidence. And I got to talk to Coach Todd a little bit before the game, and he goes, his guys are angry. And I don't blame them. And they're flat out angry. They're ready to go. Should be a great ball game again. And you got to believe, again, North Royalton believes in themselves. How could they not? Hudson, then Wadsworth, back-to-back weeks
on the road. By the way, both of those upsets on the road, and now you have, Wadsworth. You look at Wasco, who had an amazing football game last night. Their running back, and then Calarco had, a little more than a half of their offense last week with 200+ receiving yards, and a third of his season yardage came last week against the Grizzlies. So you've got to find an answer to Joe Calarco.
And I think that answer is putting pressure on Kinney. As you see, we're on the field with him tonight. And number 3 is Kinney. He's a big 6'3", 6'4" receiver. Getting some looks, Coach said, from possibly playing college. Ashland's one of them, but they think there's going to be some more offers come in after the season rolls through. But you got to get pressure on him. And you get pressure on, it shortens the time he has to throw, and the defensive back has to cover that receiver, and that's the tough thing to do.
This is a first playoff game for freshman quarterback Bryson Hall, and the dichotomy tonight. You got a veteran in 6'3", 230-pound Joe Kinney of the Bears of North Royalton, and Bryson Hall, the freshman of the Grizzlies.
Freshman. Now, with that said, Grizzlies did win the coin toss. They deferred, so they'll be kicking off first here to the North Royalton Bears.
Justin Todd looking to turn the tide over last week's disappointing loss here, which ended the undefeated season, which would have been number 6 in the books for the program, but nonetheless 9-1, and we are just moments away from getting underway in week number 1 as Jack Dinwiddie has it on the tee, and we're underway at Arkwright Stadium in week number 1 of the playoffs.
Returnable. Crosses the 15. He's got some running room. Through a hole. Taken down after he crosses the 30. They've got great field position to start their first offensive possession.
None other than Joe Calarco on the kickoff return for the Bears, and puts them in really good field position. And defensively, we talked about it before the game, where Wadsworth, you would expect maybe some more stunting, some more twists, some slants.
So a little news here tonight. We're hearing that Bowden Bollinger will not get a start tonight. He's still nursing the ankle, and hopefully he'll be healthy for, hopefully we'll have another week next week.
Jack Dinwiddie on the tackle there on the kickoff team.
Kinney calls for the ball. Hands off to Wasco. Going left. Gets hit. Taken down after a short 3-yard gain.
Yeah, it looks like Watson in on the stop, and it looks like Troy Myers also on the stop. Mannix Wasco, 582 yards on the season, 3 touchdowns, and he had, 160-some yards last week against this defense. 2nd down and 7 now for the Bears.
Right now, I see Calarco is being covered by Tommy Hahn, number 13 for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, Brady O'Connor's on the left. I believe that's Brady O'Connor on the left side. I beg your pardon, Brad Polchek.
High snap taken, hand off, right up the middle. He gets close to the first down.
No, I was correct, Robert. On the left end, we've got Brady O'Connor lining up, and we haven't seen that much this year.
Yeah, it looks like Polchek, let me check here, number 55 is down
he's
in
down.
the middle.
He's the down lineman now.
And Troy Myers not in there. We got
Zach Wise. Yeah, Troy Myers is in there.
Okay.
We've got, it looks like a 4-man front.
Which is unusual for the Grizzlies.
Nick Julie. Thank him for his time before the game. He's always just a pleasure to talk to.
You got Calarco and Piazza down here at the bottom of the screen. Wasco takes the ball.
Jacob Ernest on the stop, and boy, I got to tell you what, Robert, on that particular play, that interior lineman just fired off the ball. And they got it in the backfield in a hurry. 2nd down and 8 now for North Royalton.
You're seeing one of the first early adjustments from last week to this week. We got 4 down linemen, as you were saying.
Jacob Ernest with a big football game last week, unfortunately on the short side.
Brings up 2nd and 8. Kinney looking to throw. Throwing off the Calarco. Hahn right there after he catches it. Ball's out. Grizzlies pick it up. That was Brady O'Connor, number 54, who picks up the ball. Here we go.
Now Wadsworth creating the first turnover of the football game and puts the offense in terrific field position. We'll take a look at it. Looks like they're going to bring pressure, then they drop everybody back. And Calarco just got to hold on to the ball, but Tommy Hahn strips it, and O'Connor right there to pick it up at the 45-yard line. And the ball will be placed at the 32-yard line, where Bryson Hall in his playoff debut will lead this Grizzly offense.
So we were thinking 4 down linemen. Brady O'Connor was playing linebacker in that set right there.
Bryson Hall, and in the backfield with him is Cooper Gray, averaging more than 200 yards a ball game rushing over the last 4 football games.
We've got Maddox to the left. Oh, that was actually Stoops taking the snap right up the middle.
How about that, Robert? A little wrinkle in the offense. Yeah. Ryan Stoops in, and Zach Wise was in the backfield.
Right. Now Bryson Hall comes in. We got Stoops down, grabbing his left knee. That's not a good sign here.
No, that's not a good sign, because Stoops is also in that defensive secondary, and we're already a little depleted there. We hope the young man is okay, and sometimes you might get a helmet right there that'll bruise that chin, but he's hurting right now. You see his hands to to his face, over his helmet. Yeah, nothing you want to, we'll take another look at it.
Yeah, you got Ernest going through the hole, then Wise, and then Stoops. That's a huge fullback lead.
Stoops just keeps driving. He keeps the legs going, and just 15 on the tackle there and just falls on him. That's Dylan McCausland on the stop for the Bears.
When the play does resume, it'll be 2nd and 2. That was an 8-yard gain by Stoops. Yeah, can you imagine being a linebacker filling that hole? You have Ernest coming through, and then after that, you have Wise. That's huge. Wise at 220 pounds and Ernest at 225.
Looking back to last week's football game, Robert, I think one of the things that offensively Wadsworth needs to be better at this week is that delivery on a big play. Could be a 3rd down, obviously, could be a 4th down, but you've got to come up big in those situations tonight. Take a look at Division II Region 6. First round, the winners of each game from the groupings above, they will advance to play each other in what is the regional quarterfinals next week. So the winner of the higher seed will host that game. So Wadsworth, if they win, and North Ridgeville wins, Wadsworth will travel to North Ridgeville. If Toledo Start upsets North Ridgeville, then Toledo will travel to Wadsworth next Friday night should the Grizzlies win.
And Stoops is coming off, but he's not putting any weight at all on that left leg. We hope the best for the young man. So right now, Hall at quarterback. You have Cooper Gray currently in the pistol behind him. 2 receivers at the top, 1 at the bottom, Madigan at the bottom. I'm sorry. Ball on the ground. Looks like Hall did get it back.
Yeah, we had a number of low snaps in the game last week against the Bears, and that low snap costly as we were in 2nd and 2. Now we're in 3rd and 6 with the ball at the 29-yard line. Bryson Hall's numbers for the season, what a tremendous year for the freshman quarterback.
He's been stellar all year. He had the one game that he did get 5 interceptions up. He's only, like you said, only had 7 all year.
Empty backfield now for the Grizzlies.
Hall looking to throw. He's got time. Caught. Still on his feet. Taken down finally was Lemp after a short gain. And you can see how fired up the Bears are over there.
Yeah, Steve Willman on the stop for the Bears along with number 14. That's Michael Vargo.
He's going to bring up 4th and 6.
Yeah, I think you got to go for it here.
Yes.
This is that big down that we talked about. You got to come up with a big play.
They're looking over to the sideline, getting the play call. Gray looks like he's going to line up to the right of Hall this time. You got trips to the bottom of the screen. Maddox at left, out wide. Ernest in the middle at slot.
Bears look like they're bringing pressure. They do.
Caught by Ernest. Ernest breaks 2 tackles, still on his feet. He's going to be shy of the 1st down marker, I believe. Let's see where they make the spot.
I think he may have gotten it.
They sure did.
Yeah, the big 225-pound running back, Jacob Ernest. That's that big play, Robert, that we're talking about that you've got to convert on 4th down after a turnover.
Hands, a.k.a. hands, because he went up there with his hands, caught that, lowered it down, lowered his shoulders through 2 Bears, and picked up that 1st down. Excellent effort. There goes Wise in motion at the H-back. Little pitch to Cooper Gray. He's got the outside. He's got some running room. Cuts back in. Picks up another 1st down.
Well, Zach Wise with a nice block on the inside there, sealing the defense of the Bears, and that provides enough room on the edge for Cooper Gray to get wide of the tackle and the tight end.
It brings up 1st down now on the 9, so they cannot get a 1st down here. They have to put it in the end zone, which we're sure we're going to. Hall looking to pitches it. Gray has it. He's pushed out of bounds near the 5-yard line.
Well, there's a little wrinkle to the offense, the option play. We haven't seen that for a long time here for this Grizzly offense, but 2nd down now and goal from the 4-yard line.
5-yard pickup for Gray. That looked like a more traditional option. They had that little, almost like a shuffle pass. It was still backwards last week, but it was almost like a pitch, an odd pitch to it. but that was a true option there. You got 3 receivers top of the screen.
Yeah, Maddox, Calix Lemp, and Jacob Ernest.
Ernest sets back up at H-back. Pitch again. Gray hitting the backfield, spins, gets back to the 5-yard line. That's all he can do.
Yeah, that's a terrific play by number 15, Dylan McCausland. I mean, he just knifes right through that offensive line.
Quickly, 3rd down already. 6 yards to go. That was a 2-yard loss.
Yeah, you definitely need to put this one in the end zone following the Tommy Hahn strip, creating the fumble. This is a turnover drive for the Grizzlies.
Hall looking to throw. Caught. Touchdown, Grizzlies. Do not see who caught that. It's not Lemp. It was
Maddox.
Maddox, number 4, Grizzlies.
Yeah, that's a quick slant. Maddox is lined up wide right, and he just gets between his defender and Bryson Hall, and Hall puts it right on the numbers for him. And it's a quick hitter. It's play action, and right there's the slant. Touchdown, Grizzlies.
The Bears defender was right there. Kick is up. Kick is good. Grizzlies quickly up 7-0. 6:48 left in the first quarter. Hey, how about a defense that says, hey, you're going to get some Grizzly blood on you tonight here. We're going to make it ugly for you tonight. Hey, they come out.
Yeah, they capitalize on the turnover and go up 7-0 and take another look at it. It's just play action, freezes the backer, but it's one-on-one out on the edge. And Maddox with a nice route, good hands, good throw, and the Grizzlies up by 7. Deja vu, because last week, Wadsworth on their opening drive, they go up 7-0 on a 3-minute drive, 80-yard drive. This was a much shorter drive for this Grizzly offense.
Last time, both offenses scored both ways last time. Grizzlies stopped it this time. Now, let's see if the defense can come up, give them 3 and out.
Yeah, you have the great play by Tommy Hahn defensively, and then in the 4th down conversion, you got Jacob Ernest, who's just muscling that 225-pound frame for a 1st down, which set up this scoring drive.
That was a great camera angle there of the touchdown.
On the coverage, there was Logan Strait of the Bears.
Kicked his away, taken at the 1.
Calarco again.
Bouncing it outside, breaks one Grizzly tackle, finally taken down near the 25-yard line.
Yeah, on the stop is going to be Joe Davis, the senior.
We got a hold, and it's going to move that back.
Yeah, it did look like on the there was a hold. I think it might have been number.
I can tell you, I think it was on Grizzly number 21 because he was out there waving one hand around, saying, "Hey, look at my shoulder pad over here. It's ripped out of my jersey."
Well, North Royalton in unfamiliar territory here at Art Wright. This is going to be maybe the worst field position for the Bears offense in a game plus here at Art Wright.
Absolutely.
They had great field position last week.
Polchek at left defensive end. Troy Myers down at nose.
Yeah, we'll see where Brady O'Connor lines up. He's going to be on the short side of the field to the left of Polchak.
Got Wise at the right defensive end. Here we go. Kinney hands it off. Wasco picks up maybe 4 yards on 1st down.
Robert, we talked earlier about what was successful for this North Royalton Bears offense last week, and that offensive line did a great job at the point of attack, maintaining their blocks. And one of the things that this defensive unit's got to do tonight is really shed that block and get to the ball carrier and make the tackle.
It looks like a Bear jumped off sides. They'll push him back even further.
That'll negate the initial gain. Now it's 2nd down and 11 for this Joe Kinney-led Bears offense. The senior.
Inestroza checks in. Got Madigan up near the line of scrimmage, about 5 yards off here, looking like he's blitzing. Nope. Pressure. Kinney throws over the middle. Incomplete. Looked like an attempt for Clarko. And Inestroza, nice coverage right there.
Yeah, looked like Madigan was coming on a delayed blitz, and he put the pressure on Joe Kinney, and we're bringing pressure from the backside, so Kinney, being a southpaw, doesn't see it coming, but he sure felt it.
As we were saying earlier, looking to try to get pressure on Kinney early, rattle him, shorten the time he has to throw.
Big 3rd down and 11 now for this Grizzly D.
Kinney under pressure, steps up, throws over the middle, has Clarko, overshoots Clarko by a couple of yards.
Tommy Hahn on the coverage. That'll force the North Royalton Bears to punt with 5:37.
See the pressure there. He had to step up in the pocket. Still the pocket was collapsing on him. He had to get rid of it. Causes an incomplete pass. Hey, it looks like McNeil is going to line up on the Bears' 45-yard line to receive this punt. Okay, here we got Troy Myers. Yeah, we joked about this. How many times do you see a nose tackle line up for a punt return?
Yeah, we had too many on the field. We get our 12th guy off, so 5:37 left here in the opening quarter. Punt is away.
Yep. McNeil takes it at the 48. He's got a little running room to the 40 and still, he gets hit hard. Ball is out.
Yeah, it looks like Wadsworth recovered. It looked like number 8, Brian Hauschauer, was on the hit there. We'll take another look at it if we could, but well, he laid some wood.
Grady Hughes
Grady
Hughes comes up with that number 10. But yeah, absolutely. You see him get through the hole, and boy, then you just see him get knocked backwards hard right here. Boom.
Oh, number 28. Yeah, that's Grady Baugh. I mean, we saw a lot of Grady Baugh last week defensively. He made some big stops for this Bears team, and he's also a guy that North Royalton likes to use in short yardage situation. And if you didn't know why, now you know.
Yeah, he's one of the captains for the Bears.
Yeah, he's not only a captain, he's a senior, and he comes up and separates. And he led with his shoulder to the chin, so you got to be careful of that hit.
Okay, we got Gray to the right of Hall. We got Wise in motion. Stoppage. Marching delay a game. Okay. So 1st and 15.
So one of the things that I've recognized thus far, Robert, is the offense is a little bit more deliberate than they were last week. They're giving that defense a little bit more time on the sideline. As you know, we love to go high tempo.
Yes. Here we go. Hall rolls left, sets up, throws. Caught. Maddox got it. Still fighting on his feet. Look at him go. Man, he picks up 5-6 yards after it looked like he was stopped. Maddox.
Yeah, Cameron Knobloch was there first, and then it was Dylan McCausland actually making the stop of Maddox, but not before. A 1st down for the Grizzlies.
Some confusion here. Some of the boys are lined up, moving around quickly here. Hall thrown quickly off to the left. Completed to Maddox once again.
Boy, you get Maddox and Lemp on the outside, and that really puts the pressure on the defense, especially when you've got Cooper Gray in the backfield and Jacob Ernest, and a lot of options now for Bryson Hall.
Number 84, Tensel, for the Grizzlies, checks in at tight end. Hall rolls right. Looking for a receiver wide open. Caught.
Jacob Ernest on the reception. Hands.
Just sit down. Catch it sitting down. Do something different.
Now Jacob Ernest, that time, he's just finding an open space just beyond the 2nd level, and Bryson Hall finds him. A little short on the throw, but nice hands by Jacob Ernest.
Brings up another 1st down for the Grizzlies. Looks like we have a timeout. Now that's a good timeout called by North Royalton there to settle the Bears defense down. Grizzlies knocking on the door once again to go up 2 scores.
So Coach Chuli will talk to his defense, and this is really a huge stand now for North Royalton. To go down by 14 here in the 1st quarter is a tough hill to climb. with a very powerful Grizzly offense.
Absolutely. And the trick is going to be here is to keep the pressure on, keep the throttle down to the floor. Do not let up, because we see these young men of North Royalton believe in themselves. You give them a little spark, you never know what's going to happen.
It is red out at Art Wright tonight. See a Santa hat in the crowd, too.
Sure did. Grizzly mascot. Elijah. Here we go. Maddox all the way down to the bottom of the screen on the 10-yard line, all by himself. Strong slant. He may have a touchdown. Ernest in motion. We got motion.
False start.
Yep, false start by the Grizzlies. Going to bring up 1st and 15.
Yeah, those are mistakes that you need to eliminate.
The Grizzlies played fairly clean ball. I think maybe only 4 penalties last week. Okay. Gray behind Hall. Hall looking to the left. There it is.
As pass interference, it should be. It's not going to be called. And
yep, intended to Luke Maddox was in route. And I don't know if that was a slant or just pure in route, but he sure got bumped hard.
yeah, we got an injured North Royalton Bear at about the 13-yard line.
We have an injury. I'm not on the field.
We'll get a name for you in just a moment.
He looks looking around the ankle. That's what it looks like at the moment. Back of the Achilles. So 7-0. Everything seemingly going the Grizzlies' way at the moment, except for the motion penalty.
Number 50 is Daniel Waldaiga.
He bounces up, walking off on his own power.
6'1", 205 junior.
Number 61, Gabe Lucky right there. You see a good look at the Grizzly offense. Lemp, number 7.
Yeah, those guys are going to play a big role tonight. Jordan Jones, Gabe Ludke, Merritt Fortner, Brady O'Connor, Eli Kaufman. Eli Kaufman out in shorts earlier.
That's what it looked like.
Looked like he was ready to go swimming.
He's one of those linemen. He's always a little warm. Maybe that's what he was thinking. Hall looking to throw. Caught. In route. Caught at the 10-yard line. He's going to pick up Bob. No, he's going to give. They're going to give him 7 on that.
Maddox on the reception for.
I think that was
Luke Maddox on the reception.
Maddox, yep.
That brings up 3rd down and 8 now. 3rd and goal from the 8.
2 down territory to pick up 8 yards without a question. You got Trips to the top of the screen. Lemp is in the middle of the slot. You got Ernest in the closest. Rolling right. Hall looking back left. Incomplete. He only had, if that was a catch, you had 2 linemen out there and only 1 Bear in coverage.
Yeah, Jack Buchholz was the Bear in coverage for North Royalton, and that'll bring up a 4th down and 8, and we'll send the field goal unit on. So Jack Dinwiddie on for to be like a 25-yard attempt. This would be a chip shot for the senior, who surpassed 200 points as a kicker last week in the loss over North Royalton.
Snap back. Kick. Excellent job getting the snap down and making that kick good. Grizzlies go up 10-0 with 3:47 left in the first quarter. Now, a little victory there for North Royalton Bears.
Oh, yeah, definitely a victory for the Bears as they're within a 2 score here against Wadsworth. But, you know, Wadsworth capitalizing on the turnover early in this first quarter with 3:47 left, and then fortunately they don't turn the football over on the kickoff, or I'm sorry, on the punt return, and they're able to recover and convert that drive into 3 points. And the key for Wadsworth is you didn't come up empty.
Nope. Put some points on the board. Now that was a little different pass. That was a tight end screen that he was setting up to someone they would never thought was number 84, Anderson Tetzel, who that was intended for.
Yeah, we've seen him more and more of the last 3 or 4 ball games for Wadsworth in that tight end position. Jack Dinwiddie, who's put a number of these in the end zone throughout the year, as my partner mentioned earlier. No wind at Art Wright at this time.
What was a kickoff? About 47 degrees here
About
tonight?
47 degrees.
Yep.
Perfect for football.
Nice and crisp. Jack Whitty approaches the ball, kicks it deep. This is going to be returnable right at the goal line.
He did have both feet in, so Calarco receives it in the end zone. It'll be a touchback, and now North Royalton again with a long field in front of them. They haven't had but won their opening drive with decent field position, and if you're Wadsworth, this is exactly what you want to put the Bears offense in a difficult position.
Yeah, defense, first 2 series have been lights out here. Here comes the North Royalton for the 3rd series. See if the defense can do another 3 and out. Inestrosa, Hahn to the right. Lemp coming to the left now. Hand off to Wasco. And he comes up, turns up, and he's met by 3 red jerseys right away.
Yeah, you had Brad Watson filling the hole. You had Troy Myers there and Jacob Ernest also on the stop. But Brad Watson, we've seen a lot of him over the last 3 or 4 games, and he's playing big for us.
Yep. He's filling in for Bowden Bollinger. And just not filling in, he's playing well, quite well for him.
Calix, I beg your pardon, Inestrosa defensively on the right, on the top of your screen.
Man coverage. Kenny looking to throw, looking left. Now he's stepping up. He's got pressure. He throws it out of the bounds. Great coverage.
Yeah, pressure coming from the right side of that defensive line of the Grizzlies. Zach Wise bringing the heat.
And that's a big difference from last week to this week. When we said that earlier, you got to get pressure to him. And you see, he was a little antsy. He knows he's hearing footsteps. Hey, you got Polchek coming around, Troy Myers or Ernest coming to hit you. Your clock is speeding up in your head. So it brings up 3rd and 6 for North Royalton. Play clock down to 10 seconds. Play clock down to 4 seconds. Kinney gets it. Pressure, left throw. Lemp almost came back. It was thrown behind intended receiver. Lemp was on coverage. Brings up 4th down and 6.
Yeah, we talked about Calix Lemp before the game, Robert, and he's that guy at the corner who's got great coverage. That time, the pressure was coming from Jacob Ernest, and now we're getting to see a look at Kinney and how he responds when he's being pressured. So a couple of his throws have been high.
Yes. McNeil and Troy Myers back deep, setting up once again at the 45-yard line of the Grizzlies this time. Nice punt. Troy Meyer calls for it. It goes in and out of Troy Meyer's hand. He picks it up and then taken out of bounds after picking up maybe 3 or 4 yards after letting that ball go through his mitts. Yeah, maybe now we're seeing why he's a nose guard, right?
Well,
but no.
A collective sigh of relief here at Art Wright as that ball just happened to bounce right back up into his arms. And so Wadsworth again with good field position.
Great field position at the 47. Hey, nothing against Troy Myers. That's not an easy thing to do. You got 11 angry players coming, running at you, and you're looking up in the air. You're waiting for the ball to come down. Yeah, that's not easy. Here we go. Hall, nice and calm, takes the snap, hands off to Gray, tries the left side of the line.
Roman Gambino coming in from his linebacker spot, making first contact there for North Royalton. Gambino with a really stellar second half last week for this Bears defense.
Brings up 2nd and 7, gives Gray a 3-yard pickup. Lemp, McNeil at the top of the screen, Maddox at the bottom, Ernest in motion. Cooper Gray has a running start right up the middle. First down and more. He's got nothing but green in front of him. Touchdown, Grizzlies. Cooper Gray splits the seam. Touchdown, Grizzlies. This is not going any way correctly for the Bears, but now, remember, the Bears were down 12 at half last week.
Well, they scored 20 unanswered points last week. We'll take another look at the Cooper Gray run, and what an outstanding job up front creating the running lane for their junior tailback who's having just a season.
Junior tailback, a.k.a. Lightning.
Yeah, Lightning. He showed flashes of lightning there.
Dinwiddie out with the kick. Kick is up. It is good. 17-0. 2 minutes and 3 seconds left in the first quarter.
Now, if you're just joining us, Mike Elkins along with Robert Rickenbacker. This is week number 1 of the state playoffs, Division II, Region 6. Grizzlies lead at 17-0, and this is kind of what we expected last week.
Absolutely.
It didn't happen, so we'll take another look at the other first-round games this evening. And we've got John is talking to us about any interesting matchups tonight.
Yep. One very important one to us right now is the Toledo Start in North Ridgeville.
Absolutely.
That winner of that game dictates possibly where we would play next week. Home, if Toledo Start upsets North Ridgeville wins, we'll be going to North Ridgeville next week, which is a little haul. Ridgeville Rangers, is that correct?
That's correct, yep. And what about Highland with their victory last week, going undefeated on the season? They're hosting Fremont Ross. They'll host, should they win, we assume they would, they'll host next week as well.
Yeah, Highland's been dominant all season long.
So a big first quarter, 17 points on the board already for Bryson Hall and this Grizzly offense.
There goes Dinwiddie's kick. Right at the goal line, taken. Clarko has it. Bounces outside, makes a couple Grizzlies miss, and finally taken down near the 30-yard line. Good field position for North Royalton to start, but the Grizzly defense has been up to the task tonight.
We were down on the field earlier and watching Joe Clarko and warm-ups, and not a big guy, but he's got great speed, he's got great hands.
Well, someone had likened him in the papers to Steve Largent.
Yeah,
yes.
You know, I read that.
Yeah.
And a nice comparison. I kind of like the hometown guy, Brian Brennan.
Yeah, Brian Brennan, back to the old days of the Cleveland Browns.
The original dog pound, right? The original dogs, you know, Hanford Dixon, Frank Minifield.
Here we go. Let's see if the Bears changes anything up here. Kinney hands off to Wasco, tries the left side. He's met quickly by Ernest and company. Down they go. Ball's out late, but that was after the play.
Yeah, Brady O'Connor in there, but you see Jacob Ernest doing such a great job from that linebacker position. He's reading his key, he's flowing with the ball, and then he closes quickly to the ball carrier, and there's no gain on the play. Second down and 10 now, ball at the 32-yard line.
Yeah, Ernest was there first, but then Holler was there. There was a whole host of Grizzlies there.
Got an update that North Ridgeville is up 21-0 over Toledo in the second quarter.
Second and 10. Kenny rolls right, looking to throw. He's got pressure in his face. Intercepted by Ernest. Ernest taken down, tackled at the 25-yard line. Hey, pressure, my friend. That's what caused that. Kenny had pressure. Ernest in the right spot. Boy, if he got ahead of steam there, that would have been ugly. Someone getting in Ernest's way. But hey, ball's going to be placed on the 32-yard line.
Joe Kinney had thrown 11 interceptions coming into this game. We've got a penalty against Wadsworth. But Joe Kinney with 11 interceptions coming into this game. He threw a perfect game last week here at Art Wright. This is his first mistake as Jacob Ernest gets his hands up, bobbles the ball, but as we've talked about, he's got the nickname Jacob Hands Ernest, and he reels it in and puts this Wadsworth offense back on the field with 1:04 remaining here in the opening quarter.
So they're backing up the ball. That's going to be placed at the 43.
Yeah,
so still great field position.
Yeah, I believe the call was unsportsmanlike
conduct. Okay. Here we go. Gray behind Hall. Wise in motion. Low snap. Hall rolls right. He's got pressure. Caught. Wide open. Ernest.
Why not?
Picks up a good 15, 16 yards. Wide open. How'd you miss the big fella?
We'll go back to the interception here. You know, Kinney getting the pressure up the middle by Troy Myers, and he just underthrows it, and Jacob Ernest is right there in the passing lane.
That young man, number 20, saved a touchdown, in my opinion, right there. Taking Ernest down.
Yeah, that's Mannix Wasco, who's, you know, one of those guys for the Bears, Robert, that does go both ways.
Good to see number 88, Reese Simmons, checking in, who got hurt a couple weeks ago with a head injury. Good to see him back in there tonight. Throw quickly off the lamp. Caught. He makes several cuts after making the catch. Wow, the whistle, it's not blown. You would thought the whistle would have been blown by there. He had a lot of scrum there.
Yeah, Calix Lemp refusing to go down, keeping the legs going. He is the most targeted receiver. There's Reese Simmons. It is really good to see Reese back on the field, Robert, considering the injury that he sustained about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, absolutely. There is the end of the first quarter. Cannot have gone better for the Grizzlies. 17-0. Again, Mike, you said it right earlier. This is kind of what we expected last week. But this is what happens when you're focused, ready to go. Again, not taking nothing away from North Royalton last week. They did a fantastic job. We're seeing very inspired football on both sides of the ball tonight.
Well, you know, sometimes that's what a loss does. I mean, it will definitely inspire and motivate a football team.
Maybe that's a perfect loss at the perfect time. Not that you ever want to give up a perfect season, but hey, we're going into the playoffs now. Hey, refocus. You're not as good as you think you are, boys. Refocus. Let's go.
Yeah, we talked about earlier in the first quarter and how well North Royalton offensive line controlled the line of scrimmage and maintained their blocks. One of the things that I've seen already here tonight in the opening quarter, defensively, we're getting off those blocks and we're getting the pressures we've talked about to Joe Kinney. And when you can pressure Joe, at least thus far, you know, force him into a couple of mistakes, either throwing the ball high, throwing it short, as we saw with the interception from Jacob Ernest. And, you know, Wadsworth has capitalized, and here we are again with up 17-0, and can we capitalize on the Jacob Ernest interception?
Ball's on the 22-yard line at the moment. Second down, 6 yards to go. McNeil to the right, Simmons to the left with Lemp in the slot. Tight twins receivers there. Now Lemp in motion. Fake the jet sweep. Gray right up the middle, and there he is. Touchdown, Cooper Gray.
Hey, you got to respect the fact that if Calix Lemp gets the ball, he's got to go around the end, and so you've got flow going that way defensively, which opens up the lane for Cooper Gray. And a great job up front by the entire offensive line of Jones, Ludke, Fortner, O'Connor, and Kaufman.
Smeltzer the hold. Dinwiddie the kick. Kick is back. It is up, is good. Grizzlies lead 24-0. Just minutes into the second quarter.
Yeah, you know, you can't be any happier if you're Wadsworth other than the fact it's not 28-0. You've had 4 possessions and 4 scores.
Yes, absolutely.
And you've converted on 2 turnovers.
Caused 2 turnovers by pressure, by great defensive play by Tommy Hahn, stripping the ball out.
So your Grizzlies 24-0. You see 15 on the screen there. The Grizzlies in Division II statewide poll, they're ranked 15th in the state. They are currently the 5th seed in Division II Region 6. North Royalton the 12th seed. And this ball game has been dominated by Wadsworth. And you know that during the week it's been a commitment to excellence. It's been focus. It's everybody do your job. And boy, they have really done their job tonight. 24-0.
I ran into one of the players' parents earlier tonight before the game, and coach was saying, hey, yes, some bad calls from the refs, but hey, missed assignments. This player missed his tackle. This player didn't do his assignment. Hey, it takes all 11 on every play. And you get a good shot of Cooper Gray in his touchdown run, his second of the night.
And what North Royalton did so well last week, that Wadsworth offensive line is doing the same this week in maintaining their blocks.
And then Clarko, takes it at the 2, cuts across all the way to the right side. He's got some running room. Cuts back, gets across the 40-yard line before he's knocked down and out of bounds.
Joseph Clarko on the return for Royalton.
Looks like that's Joe Davis on the stop again. That's his second tackle on special teams tonight for the Grizzlies.
Joseph Davis, one of those 12 seniors, possibly playing the last time on right field.
Possibly. And you know, well, yeah, it looks like it based on the report that John Bernard gave us just a few minutes ago. So you have the Bears at 1st and 10 on their own 44-yard line. 11:45 left in the first half. And it's going to be an uphill battle now for the North Royalton Bears against this determined Grizzly defense.
Kenny hands off to Wasco, tries the left side, picks up a strong 5 yards, maybe 6 yards on first down.
Jacob Ernest there on the stop, also as Gavin Madigan. Gavin looking healthier in week number 2, coming back off with that high ankle sprain. Justin Todd and his staff working hard to get these Grizzlies prepared for this round 1 of the state playoffs against a familiar opponent. There are no secrets between these two programs.
No, not at all. Tommy Hahn, one-on-one with Clarko at the bottom of the screen. Carry, Wasco comes close to the first down marker before he's hammered and taken backwards by the Grizzlies.
Yeah, they're going to mark him beyond the yard to gain. It'll be a first down for the Bears, and I believe, Robert, that may be their first down of the ball game.
I agree. Holler on the tackle, number 23. I used to call him a freshman, but after 10 games, you're no longer a freshman on this team here. You started all 10. He's played well all year long.
Freshman plus is what we'll call him,
yeah,
right?
There we go. Hey.
He and Bryson Hall.
Yeah, that's definitely a plus.
Yeah, having those two guys on your football team.
For 4 more years, 3 more years after this, yes. Oh, snap dropped. Kenny, hurt rush, possibly going down. Nope, gets it off. Are they going to call interference on that? Clarko tries to make it look like he caught it, but he did not.
Yeah, flag is down on the turf at the 10-yard line. The ball looked as though it was underthrown, and he's going to call pass interference on the defense on the coverage there. It looked like Jacob Ernest is there, but I'm not sure if he was on the coverage. Nonetheless, it'll be a first down for North Royalton.
Boy, that's tough for me to believe that. It was short. He had pressure. Kenny had pressure, as you can see. You got O'Connor there.
I mean,
and Holler there.
What a job by Kenny to get rid of the ball. I mean, he's going down, falling forward. The ball is underthrown, and I see he got him around the. Yeah, that's the.
That was Tommy Hahn, number 13 on the coverage. But hey, that's a tough call. Hey, so ball's on the 31. Here we go. Kenny holds it up, hands it off to Wasco. Taken down after a short game.
Brady O'Connor in there. Jacob Ernest, Zach Wise in on the stop.
Sean Kincaid checking in tonight. Troy Myers checking out.
Yeah, it looks like Kincaid is going to be
at nose.
Are they going to put him at nose?
Yes.
Yeah, Kincaid at nose, and second down and 9 now from the 30-yard line.
Kenny looking to throw, looking left, steps up in pocket, throws deep into the end zone. Incomplete. And a very late penalty flag comes out on Tommy Hahn again.
Yeah, this will be Tommy's second infraction. I'm not sure about that one either, because it looked like he got there when the ball was there. It appeared as though he turned around and found the ball, but another DPI for the Grizzlies. We'll take another look at it. Kenny, plenty of time in the pocket. The offensive line does a good job, and that looks like a no call.
Anybody, it's offensive interference, pulling back Hahn from turning around.
Yeah, if you look at his right hand on Hahn's left shoulder, then he wraps Hahn up. That's a no call in my book.
So Hand off to Wasco. He spins. He picks up a few yards.
Yeah, 2 big penalty yardage plays against the Grizzlies puts the Bears in the red zone.
Troy Meyer checks back in. Kincaid checks out. Yeah, here we go. It's the first time the defense is going to be put in a rough spot here due to the refs, if you want to call that way. 2nd and 8. Wasco to the left of Kenny. There goes a jet sweep. I think that's Clarko with it. Madigan, number 2 for the Grizzlies. Oh, no, that's Lemp, number 7 coming up and making that tackle.
I think it was Jacob Ernest running him out of bounds.
I'll correct myself. That was Madigan, number 2. Lemp.
Was it?
Yep.
Okay.
Wadsworth, a wholesale.
Yeah, Ludke is coming in. Eli Kaufman coming in on that defensive line. This is your red zone defense. Zach Wise at nose.
Here we go. Timeout. Grizzlies taking their first timeout of the half. Probably a good timeout here. Substituting several players in here tonight. Well, yeah, excellent job so far by the Grizzlies.
Yeah, I can understand the first DPI probably a good call, but the second one I think is a no call, and unfortunately the official's in the back of the end zone and he calls it.
And he sees Tommy Hahn's back. You had to see the white gloves come around going around Hahn. I mean, anyways.
And the ball again was slightly underthrown, but I got to give Joe Kinney credit. I mean, he's got 2 guys on him, and that big 230-pound frame just fires it down the field. And fortunately for the Bears, they get the DPI, and they're in the red zone looking to close this gap.
And honestly, the only way they got there was those penalties, really. But, hey, they'll take it anyway. Hey, we've gotten it that way before. So, hey, it happens. You can't blame refs. You got another down. That's not the only play in the game.
Everyone's human. There we go.
Absolutely. You got Eli Kaufman at right defensive end. Or, nope. See, he's down. You got 2 nose tackles here. You got Kaufman.
Tight splits, Robert, on this offensive line for the Bears.
Hands off. Offensive line pushes to near the 5-yard line. Looks like the pickup of 3.
Yeah, we'll see if they come back up with those tight splits.
This is going to bring up 4th and 1. I think you have to go for a touchdown. You don't go for 3 here when you're down 24-0.
No, a field goal really doesn't help you here if you're Royalton. Tight splits again.
Tight splits.
Power eye.
Oh, there's a movement by North Royalton. He's going to bring a 5-yard penalty. He's going to make 4th and 6.
Yeah, the junior Gambino a little anxious on the play, and now that backs up the Bears, as my partner said, and now you're going to make some substitutions if you're Wadsworth. That brings up 4th and goal. Now you're definitely forced to throw the football here.
Eli Kaufman, Gabe Lucky checks out. Troy Myers back in.
Play clock down to 11. And North Royalton struggling to get the play in.
They're going to have to call a timeout here.
And they do.
There's the timeout. That's the last timeout they have for the half with 7:21. The Grizzlies still up 24-0. 4th down and 6. Hey,
yeah, they got one
more timeout.
Yeah,
sorry.
One more timeout left, and yeah, I mean this could be a huge stand by this Grizzly defense, and they certainly want it considering what happened last week.
Yes.
This is a prize drive, if you will, defensively for Wadsworth. Other action, folks, in Division II, Region 6, North Olmsted. These are teams that we could meet down the road. North Olmsted is at Avon. Fremont Ross at Medina Highland. Cleveland Rhodes is at White House Anthony Wayne. Toledo Start at North Ridgeville. Sandusky at Oregon Clay. Toledo St. Francis de Sales at Avon Lake. And Amherst Steel at Olmsted Falls. And we'll remind you again that should Wadsworth win, and it looks pretty good right now, 24-0, they would play the winner of Toledo Start and North Ridgeville. Now, should North Ridgeville win, Wadsworth, being the lower seed, would travel to North Ridgeville next week. Should Toledo, go ahead, John. North Ridgeville up 35-0, so that'll be a running clock in the second half.
So here we go. Kenny, the Bears on 4th down. Kenny looking to throw. He's got pressure in his face. Ball's out. Well, North Royalton recovers it, but there's going to be turnover on downs.
Well, the Artright faithful on their feet.
The defense, what a stand.
Yeah, they're supporting this defense. The pressure comes from the right side, and look who cuts in. It's Jacob Ernest. He's the first one there. I beg your pardon, that's Zach Wise. Ernest trying to wrestle the ball away, and look, you know, we talked about defensively slanting, and that's exactly what Zach Wise does. He hits the gap, and he gets off the ball quickly, brings the pressure, causes yet another turnover, the third turnover of the night for the Bears.
The defense is on their game like they have been all season long. Here we go. Hall, Gray. Hall going deep, has Lemp, caught Lemp in and out of Lemp's hand. I don't know if the defender number 1 got his hand in there.
Yeah, Jack Buchholz on the coverage and just barely gets enough of maybe a fingernail on that football, as a great throw by Bryson Hall here gets good protection. And you see the block there by Jacob Wise, not Jacob Wise, but Jacob Ernest, and just a little long on the throw.
Is that Coach Todd going for nailing that hammer in and sealing the coffin? Is what he was trying to do there. He was going deep. Hall looking to throw once again. Intended for McNeil. Good coverage.
Yeah, Buchholz again on the coverage for the Bears, and up 24-0. Coach Todd opening up the passing package.
So it brings up 3rd and 10.
Play clock at 17.
Yep, plenty of time.
Got a tight bunch on the left side.
Trips receiver now. And Estrozza in motion, rolls out. He's got pressure, Hall does. Throws complete, first down.
How about Jacob Ernest? I mean, he is Mr. Everything. And we talked about 3rd down situations, another situation where the Grizzlies have to convert on 3rd down, and who makes it happen? Jacob Ernest.
Jacob Ernest saying, hey, it's nice. Lemp, you go 2 persons, Lemp, go 2 persons, Ernest, Cooper Gray, and then, hey.
Yeah, Luke Maddox.
Maddox.
What a big first down for this Grizzly offense.
Cooper Gray with a carry right up the middle, 9 yards on first down.
Yeah, he might just be shy of a first down, 9.5 on the carry for the junior. And Wadsworth quickly to the line of scrimmage. They'll keep this high pace offense up.
Good shot of junior Cooper Gray. Cooper Gray, stutter steps. And finally taken down after he picks up a good 6-7 yards.
Brady Ball on the stop. He just grabs the jersey of Cooper Gray as Cooper just cuts through the hole, and Brady Ball reaches out, grabs his jersey and pulls him down, but not before Cooper gets a first down for the Grizzlies.
On the 47-yard line.
Everything going the way Coach Todd anticipated here tonight.
Yeah. I believe Maddox down at the bottom of the screen. Fake the jet sweep to Lemp. Here comes the pressure. Here's a screen to Gray. He's got plenty of running space in front of him. Down the sideline. Touchdown, Cooper Gray. I do not see any laundry on the field. That'll make his 3rd touchdown tonight. Well over 100 yards tonight, rushing, and now a good 50, 60 yards in receiving.
Yeah, Cooper between receiving yards after catch, rushing yards, well over 100, and a great block right there. That is number 61. That's Gabe Lutke on the block, and then another downfield block by Brady O'Connor. How about that? The offensive lineman downfield.
Good 25 yards downfield blocking. You gotta love that.
Dinwiddie's kick is up, and it is good.
Hey, 31-0, ladies and gentlemen, with 5:58 left in the second quarter.
To put this into perspective, Wadsworth only scored 37 last week in the entire game. And they gave up 44, and they're pitching a shutout tonight, are the Grizzlies. Wow.
This is what you call complementary football. Defense helps the offense, and offense helps the defense. Excellent job tonight.
And again, 3 turnovers result in 2 touchdowns and a field goal. 17 points off of turnovers tonight for the Grizzlies.
It's Jack Dibwinnie and squad getting ready to kick off back to North Royalton, who's offensively has gotten nothing going so far tonight.
No, I think you just tip your hat to the Grizzly defense tonight and their coaching staff and getting these kids well prepared. And they are they are firing off the football, this defensive line. Jack Dinwiddie will kick to the south end zone. 3 turnovers have absolutely destroyed North Royalton Bears tonight. Just, it's tough to turn a football over in a playoff game, but when you're turning it over against a good offensive unit, it magnifies the error.
Which everything's clicking. Little pooch kick. The North Royalton Bear went down on one knee to take that squib kick, and he'll be down right where he takes it at the 25-yard line, it looks like.
Logan Strait, just like a shortstop, drops his knee. We'll take another look at the Cooper Gray touchdown run.
Look at that, O'Connor out there blocking. Look at McNeil all the way down the sideline as well. His fellow receivers out there blocking for Cooper Gray.
Brady O'Connor, a senior, 6'1", 220, working his way downfield. I love that. You're never giving up on a play. And that young man right there, Troy Myers, leads Medina County down linemen and tackles coming 62? Into tonight's game.
I believe it was 62 I saw.
I mean, that young man has worked hard to get to this point in his career, the senior. You'll see him at nose or at end or, as we've seen, on punt return.
Kenny hands off to Wasco, bounces it left, breaks one tackle, knocked out of bounds as he crosses the 30-yard line.
Gavin Madigan on the stop for the Grizzly defense, coming in from that free safety position on the left side. It's good to see Gavin Madigan back in the lineup defensively. He's just such a force back there.
Brings up a 2nd and 3. That was a 7-yard pickup. They're not getting away from the run. You would think they may be in a hurry, trying to get some points back on before halftime. They're hands off once again. Wasco taken down by Ernest, and
we'll see who gets up on the bottom of that pile. It's Troy Myers, of course. He's first contact, cleaned up there by Jacob Ernest, and Zach Wise also on the stop from that defensive end position. This defense is playing lights out tonight. 3rd down and 2 now for the Bears. The junior Madigan, junior Jacob Ernest, Jude Holler, the freshman plus.
3rd and 2, Kenny looking to throw. He shoulder pumps. He's got Clarko open. Caught over top of Hahn. He goes up and over. Makes a spectacular catch.
Yeah, number 88, we are familiar with the number of Joe Calarco, and what a pitch and catch. Kenny, pressure coming into his face and gets rid of it. The southpaw, you'll see right here, Zach Wise leaps and interrupts the vision, but not enough. What a ball.
Yeah.
What a catch.
Ball's placed at the 28-yard line. Blitz. Oh, they're going to get Zach Wise for jumping off sides there. Holler showed blitz, and I think that kind of threw off Wise. He came up next to him, showed blitz, bouncing up, and Zach Wise goes as well.
The Bears last week in their win had a number of big plays to spark this offense, and you wonder, is that the kind of play down 31-0? Does that spark this North Royalton offense? Well, we'll find out.
Just 4 minutes left in the half. Kenny looking to throw, throws quickly, and there
Jude Holler on the coverage.
Yeah.
And see, the pass was intended for number 6. That's Zach Shraka.
Number, can't quite, is that 3? Number 8.
Number 8. Yep, I'm sorry, that's Brian Hauschauer.
He's going to feel a little bruising in the rib area tomorrow.
2nd down and 5 now, ball to 23-yard line of the Grizzlies.
We got 3 receivers at the top of the screen. 1, Clarko, down at the bottom with Hahn on him. Kenny
Here
looking.
comes the blitz.
Yep. Steps up. Intended for Clarko.
Yeah,
Coverage.
Brad Watson coming to bring the pressure in Kenny's face and forces him to throw the football high, incomplete pass, and brings up 3rd down now. And again, that's that delayed blitz and Kenny feeling the pressure.
Yeah, and he's also maybe walking off a little injury to the ankle or knee there. The way he's walking around. Brings up 3rd and 5, though.
Yeah, Robert, the defense tonight has really harassed Joe Kenny.
2 down territory for the Bears. Kenny, high snap, hands off to Wasco, tries right, makes 1 Grizzly miss. Fights, he looks like he did pick up the 1st down as he dives forward. Excellent effort.
Nice block out there by Brian Hauschauer on the kickout block for the Bears, and that opens up that running lane for Wasco and enough for a 1st down. And here you have North Royalton, Robert, again in the red zone.
1st and 10. Clock under 3:30 left in the half. Hand off to Wasco, right up the middle. He's got some running room. Down to the 5-yard line.
On the interior, Luciano Galassi on a nice block, that offensive line, number 71. Seals the defense to the inside, and Wasco then cuts it off of his right hip for a gain of 9.
Watson had finally brought him down, number 23 for the Grizzlies. 2nd and 1 from the 6. Ball's on the ground. Kenny just falls on it. He never got back to him.
Yeah, it never did. And these are the type of mistakes that you got the 3 turnovers, and that's a loss on the play. It's 3rd down and 3 now from
the 8-yard line.
8-yard
yeah,
line.
You're lucky it was only 2-yard loss.
Yeah, and so those are the mistakes that are costly and can stop momentum. And so now play clock at about 10 right now as the play just comes into the huddle. And a reminder, North Royalton with only 1 timeout left here in the half. Tight splits up front.
Hand off. Wasco. Yep.
He squirts through.
After running into the back, one of his linemen bounces to the left and finds a hole. You can see the North Royalton fans, student section. So it did pick up a 1st down on that carry.
Gabe Ludke in there on the defensive line. Paul Check on the left end. Zach Wise in your picture. Eli Kaufman on the right side. Tight splits once again for this Bears offense.
Eli Kaufman in there as well. Wasco with the carry. Is hit, driven backwards.
By Gavin Madigan. Is that Madigan? Yes, it is. What a play by Gavin, and that is exactly how they teach you to tackle, and what a TFL for Gavin Madigan.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's just not hitting the ball carrier, it's hitting and driving.
And that's exactly what he did. That was textbook tackle against the power I.
Down to near 1 minute left in the half. 2nd down and 5 from the 5.
Power I again for the Bears.
Kenny looking to throw. He's got pressure. Throws it incomplete, and he gets hit by, who was that? That
might be Brady O'Connor.
Yeah,
that came in. It is Brady
50.
that brought the pressure on the front side of Kenny, and Kenny had to get rid of it in a hurry.
Brings up 3rd down and 5.
Now you got your pass rush defense in there on the line. You've got Zach Wise, Brady O'Connor at the linebacker position there. Yep. And I believe Troy Myers checked in.
Checked back in. We got Zach Wise. Here we go. 3rd and 5. 53 seconds left in the half. North Royalton with 1 timeout left, 3 receivers to the left. Kenny looking throw in the end zone. Intended for number 8 on coverage was Inestroza, number 9 for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, Joe Calarco on that play, he went in motion and tried to sell a wide receiver screen, and Wadsworth doesn't buy it.
Brings up big 4th down and 5. The big difference in the half is the pressure and the turnovers. And the pressure is creating those turnovers.
Yeah, and converting those turnovers into points. And, 17 points off turnovers for the Grizzlies tonight.
North Royalton going to call their last timeout. So, if you coach Chuli over there, did I get his name right? Because he called us out on that earlier.
Yeah.
What are you telling your boys? What are you going to dial up here? What has worked for them? Not much.
Well, no, not much against this Grizzly defense, and everything that worked for the Bears last week against Wadsworth is not working tonight, because defensively I think we're doing the one thing that we're doing much better tonight that we didn't do last week is get off the block. And if you can't sustain your block, there is Abe and Joanna high atop Art Wright Stadium. They are braving the cooler temperatures here as we turn the calendars into the month of November. Can you believe it?
Yeah, Halloween was this week.
There's Aiden Uzinski on the field for us. Aiden, great story in the local papers for Aiden and his efforts down in North Carolina as a result of Hurricane Helene and how that affected the folks in the Asheville area.
We're fortunate and so blessed here. We're calling a Friday night football game, playoff game. We got families in Asheville that lost their whole family, lost their house, their jobs. It's just devastating. Mother Nature is awesome, but I just want to see her from a distance. Just cannot fathom what has happened down there.
48 seconds left in the first half, and this one, Grizzlies up 31-0.
4th down, last 4th down time they had it, they sacked, and the ball came out last time that happened. See if we can do it once again. Kenny rolls left, trying to get away from pressure, throws to the end zone. Tommy Hahn knocks it down. It was intended for Clarko, but hey, no laundry this time. Hey, turnover on downs. Second time tonight, the Grizzly defense put in a bad position and comes up big, like they've done all season long for the most time.
Well, what I like about that play for Tommy Hahn is that he doesn't let the 2 other penalties bother him. He's still there. He's got blanket coverage, and so forces the Bears to turn the ball over on downs with 40 seconds left, and Wadsworth with 2 timeouts, and you will get the ball start the second half if you're Wadsworth.
Yep. Yeah, Tommy Hahn, what they say, as a defensive back, is especially a corner. Here we go. What are the Grizzlies doing? They're splitting out wide here. There goes a call's timeout. There was some miscommunication. Something was amiss there. You would think they were just trying to grind it out, hand it off, and take a knee, get out of the halftime. But no. You say when you're cover corner, you're going to make a mistake. Hey, you're covering some of the best players out there. It's going to happen. Sometimes it's going to go your way. Sometimes it's not. You got to have a short memory. You're right.
Yeah.
During that time, because after that time, we'll have the drawing and then
And as we start the second half, Wadsworth up by 30 points, 31 in this case, we will have a running clock so long as the difference between Wadsworth and North Royalton is 30 points.
Yeah, as long as it is, the game will become running clock in the second half. Only stops for injuries and a few things. But yeah, here you're telling Coach Todd's telling his men, protect the ball. Let's go into halftime up 31-0.
Yeah, everything has went right for Wadsworth tonight, and they've definitely prepared for this football game. And
we got 4 receivers set, 2 at the top. Now Lemp in motion.
We've got a penalty on before we even get the snap off, and
that's the 3rd time tonight that's happened, especially on first down too. So there's going to be half the distance. So the ball's going to be at the 2.5. That was going to be look like a draw play to Cooper Gray. Fake to limp.
And now you've got to take care of the football where Bryson Hall will take the snap in the end zone and Cooper Gray behind him.
Gray with the carry. Busted up over the 5-yard line, still on his feet. Nice effort by Gray after contact.
And that will do it, I would imagine, for the first half. Coach Todd waves his guys in, and the Grizzlies, I got to tell you, what a half. 31-0. They convert 3 turnovers into 17 points. They pitched a shutout, and the Bears have been in the red zone for 2 times and come up empty.
Yep. And hats off to the Grizzlies. They bounce back after last week's tough loss. Lost their undefeated season. Great job by the Grizzlies. Refocused and ready to go for a playoff run.
So Robert and I will step away for halftime, and we ask you to stick around to enjoy the halftime show. We've got the North Royalton Bears marching band, followed by your Grizzly marching band. 31-0. Grizzlies lead it at the half.
Presenting the 2024 North Royalton High School Marching Band under the direction of field commanders Julie Carnes, Anapati, and Dylan Madden. Our first selection for this evening's halftime performance is Let It Rip, the 1982 number 5 Billboard chart hit by the jazz band from Cleveland, Ohio. Let It Rip is featured in the film Pitch Perfect. All renditions featured by tuba, trumpet, saxophone, and telephone section. Ladies and gentlemen, the North Royalton High School Marching Band. Back in 1979 was one of Bob Seger's classic hits, Old Time Rock and Roll, which is the second most popular song played on jukeboxes around the USA. The song exploded in popularity when it was showcased in the 1983 film Risky Business starring Tom Cruise. Our rendition features our woodwind, percussion, and mellophone sections. Give Me Some Lovin' is a 1966 hit composed, rehearsed, and recorded by Steve Winwood in the Spencer Davis Group in just 30 minutes. It reached number 7 on the Billboard charts and is considered one of the 500 greatest songs of all time by Rolling Stone magazine. We hope you enjoy our groovy performance of Give Me Some Lovin' featuring our Royalettes and Royalaires. They have scored their highest music scores since 2010 at this year's competition. Congratulations to our seniors and all band members and staff of the North Royalton High School Marching Band. The directors of the North Royalton High School Marching Band are David Vitale, Christopher Burdick, and Mike Neri, assisted by Royal Ed instructor Karen Colabianchi, Royal Air instructors Melissa Horvath, Morgan Bolt, pit percussion, marching, and visual tech instructor Michael Atkinson, and percussion tech Adam Schwab. Percussion director Ryan Louie, percussion tech and arranger David Sullivan and Adam Quinn, color guard directors Jessica Corson and Vanessa Lloyd, and student teacher Sarah Plain. This is the 2024 Wadsworth High School Marching Band. On the field, the band is led by drum makers Jake Robach, Maxie Catafias, and Aaron Casey. Since starting her career on the children's show Barney, Demi Lovato has sold 20 million records. A Robach leads Lovato's Grammy winner, Confidence. Green Day's Good Witty has become American high school seniors' favorite graduation song. How's that make all you high school teachers feel? The feature color guard members Kristen Sotera as Maggie Catafayas leads Good Riddance. Dancing Queen, Billboard's #2 song of all time, has sold over 3 million copies and been played on the radio 6 million times. Tonight we feature our drum line as Aaron Casey leads ABBA's Dancing Queen. We hope you've enjoyed tonight's halftime show. This is the Wadsworth High School Marching Band.
Well, we welcome you back up to the booth, high atop Arkwright Stadium, and Grizzlies in control of this one, 31-0 at the half. Some numbers from the first half. North Royalton, 46 rushing yards and 46 passing yards, 92 total yards. You see the stats on your screen. The big one for Wadsworth, 7 penalties, 62 yards, and 2 of those, almost half of that, coming in back-to-back defensive pass interference. But rushing yards, Wadsworth dominating all over the board. Leading rusher for the Grizzlies, no surprise.
Yeah.
You know, Cooper Gray, 9 carries, 117 yards, and already with 2 touchdowns here tonight. Bryson Hall, 11 of 15, 134 yards and 2 touchdown passes. Cooper Gray, one of those on that screen during the second quarter. And Jacob Ernest leading all receivers here tonight, 4 catches for 50 yards. For North Royalton, Wasco was 17 carries, 62. He's been a workhorse. But unfortunately, only 62 yards. And, you know, credit to that defense for stopping the run play. And the other one is Kenny, 2 of 12 for 46 yards and 1 interception.
Yeah, and you'd have to think, what, number one, we're going to the running clock in the second half. As long as we keep up 30 points more, running clock, you're going to force them to throw from here on out. You know, have to. They even try to get back in the game. And right now, as it stands, it does look like we'll be traveling to North Ridgeville next week. They're up 35-0 late in the second quarter, probably halftime now, dominating their game as well.
Yeah, you talk about what a difference a week makes. Let's look at the numbers. These are complete game numbers from last week. Wasco was 26 carries for 176 yards. He's at 17 carries now for only 62 yards. And passing-wise, North Royalton's Joe Kinney was 13 of 21 for 272 yards. He is 2 of 12 for 46 yards. And Calarco, who destroyed our secondary, he is only 2 receptions for 46 yards.
Yeah.
Defensively, we've clamped down. It's been
this is exactly what we said. He put pressure on Kinney. We were getting stunts. We're getting pressure all over him and making him speed up his throws. Defense has stepped up. Hahn's been all over Clarko all night. Lemps on Piazza. And
take a look at a couple of the touchdown plays. That's the quick slant, the touchdown to Luke Maddox.
That was the first touchdown.
And this is Cooper Gray. I believe that was a 26-yard touchdown scamper for the junior tailback. That was 1 of 2, I believe, in the first half for him. And that's another shot of the slant to Luke Maddox. And I mean, the offensive line is giving Bryson Hall time to play. This is the screenplay now to Cooper Gray, who runs it up the left sideline. And again, Brady O'Connor, I mean, no quit on that offensive line.
There was Reese Simmons, number 88, as well, downfield, way downfield blocking, doing an excellent job. It's been a team effort all the way around. Complementary football, defensively, offensively, special teams. Everything's clicking for the Grizzlies here tonight. The Grizzlies will receive the second half kickoff. They did win the coin toss earlier and deferred to the second half. So, you know, Grizzlies offensive starters are going to come out here first and try to put another 7 on and put this game away for good.
Yeah, just a reminder, Wadsworth up by 30 points. We will be in a running clock here in the second half so long as that 30-point gap remains. And the only time that the clock will stop is on, I believe, an injury.
And a timeout.
And a timeout.
Yep.
So, and as my partner had mentioned, it looks as though we will be traveling the Wadsworth Grizzlies to North Ridgeville, as that game is likely early into the second half at this point. And that one likely a running clock as well.
Yep, running clock as well.
So we ask you to just pay attention. Stay tuned to WCTV social media posts. John Bernard and his team will provide the community of Wadsworth with any updates on how you can, if at all possible, tune into that game next week at North Ridgeville.
You know, Spectrum has the rights to broadcast any game they choose.
That is correct, yeah.
That's not why we're not live right now. This will be broadcast later on, you know, tonight, 10:30, 11 o'clock. But if they choose to broadcast this live and, you know, put it on TV, you know, we're not allowed to broadcast. So.
Coach Todd there in the center of that huddle of the Grizzlies as they come to the sideline here, just about to start here the third quarter. And I think the message might be, hey, you know what? It's 0-0.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, you're up by 31 points. Yes, we have a running clock, but you have to approach this as though it is 0-0. You're not going to take a play off.
Coming into your screen to the right here is going to be Ryan Stoops. He is on crutches yet, still here with his teammates. So hopefully it's just a bruised knee, or maybe, worst case scenario, a sprained ankle maybe. But he is on crutches, still here with his team.
And that is so key to all of the teams here in the state of Ohio as they enter the postseason, the second season, if you will. As some of it is, you got to get lucky and stay healthy. Yeah,
absolutely. And Grizzlies trying to get healthy. Madigan's back. Hopefully we get Bowden Bollinger back next week. But, Watson's filled in well for him. There's been a little we've seen Brady O'Connor at linebacker as well tonight.
So back deep for the Grizzlies to receive the kickoff is Troy Myers and Tommy Hahn. Tommy Hahn on the far side. There's a look at Stoops on crutches.
Right next to Ernest and Madigan, number 2. Hall,
Calix
16.
Lemp now in the picture.
There's Bowden Bollinger coming into the picture there at the end, number 30. Is it 35, I believe?
Yep. Bowden Bollinger.
Yep, number 35. And kick is away. And it's going to go 2 yards deep in the end zone. Grizzlies will take over first possession, second half from the 20-yard line.
And the clock continues to run. I mean, even before the ball is kicked, as soon as the official blows the whistle, slight change in high school football rules as it relates to the running clock. So first and 10 now from the 20 for the Grizzlies. And, if you're Coach Chuli, at halftime, that's a tough locker room.
Yeah, it's a tough locker room. Air's out of the balloon here now for them. I would have to think you're going to get a steady dose of Cooper Gray right here. Ernest in motion. Low snap. Bryson Hall picks it up, throws off to right to Lemp. Lemp has it. He picks up close, maybe 9 yards on first down.
Yeah, on the stop over there is number 29, Logan Strait. And, that's one of those plays that we've seen all year, Robert, is you get the ball out on the edge to your athletes and let them do the work. A good 7-yard gain on first down for Wadsworth.
So it brings up 2nd and 3. Pulls it out of belly of Gray. Lemp did not look it all the way in. He was going to catch it and easily pick up a first down, but as a dropper brings up 3rd down and 3.
Yeah, Calix just gets his head turned a little bit and gets his eyes downfield. On the coverage was Logan Strait again. And so you got Logan Strait, probably their top coverage guy, and Calix Lemp, one of our top receivers on that offensive unit for Wadsworth.
There we go, free 5 yards. You got Hall does a great job barking out his cadence, and his number of times this year he's gotten the opponents to jump offside. So Grizzlies pick up the first down. Ball's on the 32 now.
Yeah, we call that a free first down.
Here we got a little different formation. Is that Madigan in the backfield finally? Yep, Madigan. Pitch out to Gray. Cooper Gray's got a lot of running room down the sideline. He's going to score. Touchdown, Grizzlies. Once again, no penalty flags. Cooper Gray, 60-some yards.
68 yards on the touchdown run for Cooper Gray.
That's going to put him up over 170 yards for the night, easily.
Well, they came in with 117. So add 68 to that.
Yep, 185 yards on 10 carries. That's not, I don't know, man. That's not a great average. I don't know if he, only 18 yards a carry. Dinwiddie on for the extra point. Kick is up. It is good.
Well,
38-0.
How about the play call? You fake the dive to Gavin Madigan, and he's in the backfield. You're thinking, yeah, Gavin's going to get the football up 31-0. Get him on the offensive side of the ball. You pull the ball out of his belly, and then you show the option. That's a new wrinkle to the offense. We'll take a look at it as the pitch to Cooper Gray.
And it's off to the races. You're not going to catch Cooper Gray. Reese Simmons doing a nice job blocking downfield, making sure no Bears are going to make a tackle on Cooper Gray.
So for Cooper Gray, that is his 3rd touchdown of the day. You'll see the dive play. That's Jacob Ernest.
Oh,
That's Jacob Ernest. Fakes the dive, and there's the pitch, and a great kick-out block there. I believe that's Calix Lemp.
Yes, it was.
Calix Lemp kicking out the defender there for the Bears, and you know like we talked about it, everyone has a responsibility, and they're that Grizzly offense, proving that point.
Yeah, absolutely. You got Reese Simmons downfield. You got Lemp doing a kick out. Excellent job.
I mean, you sell the fake inside with the dive play to Jacob Ernest, backers bite, freeze for a moment, and then you've got the option on the wide side of the field. So Cooper Gray only about, 15 yards? Less than 15 yards to another 200-yard game.
And that'd be 5 games in a row.
Yeah, that'd be 5 in a row.
Yep. Pooch kick, and a little squib kick here. Ball goes out of bounds. It's going to give 15 free yards.
They'll take it.
Royalton.
Yeah, I think they'll take it at the 35 is where the ball will be.
Clock will still continue to turn.
Yeah, as soon as they set the ball in place. And a game that's been absolutely dominated by the Grizzlies here tonight.
Coach starting to get some of the seniors in the play tonight here. Seniors, the last time they're going to be playing on Art Wright.
About Cooper Kresawati in there on the left end.
Defensive end, yep.
Cooper, the 6 foot, 185-pound senior.
Han still on coverage of Calarco. Kenny, hands off to Wasco.
Zach Wise on the stop. Also, Gavin Madigan he's going to help Jacob Ernest off the turf. And, another great job. We talk about him a lot, but Calix Lemp is just a shutdown corner on Piazza. Piazza, I don't think we've called his number once tonight.
Not tonight.
And that's number 7, Nick Piazza, the 5'10", 160-pound junior receiver. He's just blanket coverage, shutdown corner for the Grizzlies.
Kenny looking to throw this time. He has some time, thrown deep. Han tracks it down and just doesn't get it in time. But Kenny had to get rid of that. He had pressure. And I tell you what, there was some serious holding going on from, I think it was Troy Myers, from stopping and sacking Kenny.
Well, not only, Kenny was looking the way of Nicholas Piazza, but again, we just talked about Calix Lemp on the corner there. That's Calarco. Looks like Joe Calarco down with a cramp, stretching out that toe. Yeah, rare to see those at this time of the season, but they'll stretch it out. But Kenny looked as though he wanted to go to Piazza. Piazza just on a little button hook back to him. And again, Calix Lemp, who's got such great feet in that corner position, blanketed Piazza. And so Kenny had no choice but to let it go.
And he had to get rid of it, too, because Troy Myers, I believe it was Troy Myers, coming in, number 3 out of the nose. And he definitely, if there was a replay, you can see he was being held, and all you can see is being jerked back. Given it another second, he would have sacked Kenny.
So up by 38 for Coach Todd and his staff. This is an opportunity, as you had mentioned, to get some seniors in the game and get these starters out of the game and get them rested and prevent a little, should there be an injury. Certainly you don't want that, but that's why you want to get these guys in the football game.
Yes, absolutely.
Joe Calarco, who had a career night last evening here at Art Wright with over 200 yards receiving, is
210 yards on 8 catches last week. And that was last week.
Yeah, and Tommy Hahn's done a great job on him tonight. He's only got 2 receptions, Calarco, for 46 yards tonight.
And they're going to put in number 13, Thomas Pico. Pick one. Hahn will cover him.
Pichion.
There you go. Kenny looking to throw. Incomplete. Over top of the intended receiver. Haller on coverage.
Pass was intended for Brian Hauschauer, the 5'9 senior. So 4th and 7 now. The Bears are going to be forced to punt as the clock continues to run here in the second half, third quarter.
McNeil and Troy Myers going to be back deep once again, setting up near the 30-yard, Grizzlies 30-yard line. Lemp checking in very late. Fair catch called by McNeil. The Grizzlies are going to take over near the 29-yard line. Let's see who all comes out for the Grizzlies. I see Reese Simmons is out there now.
Yeah, it looks like number somebody out there. I don't have a number on the roster.
Again, the winning ticket number on the 50-50 drawing is 1446.
Hall not going in.
Yeah, I was looking to see if Hall was going to go in. It looks like it might be number.
I see 39 checking in for the Grizzlies, and we don't have a 39. 20. Oh, Schmelzer at quarterback.
Quarterback, yeah.
Number 39 is the unknown player.
Yeah, that's the one I was looking for on the roster, and I don't have it. Quickly to Lemp.
Lemp makes one Bear miss. Finally taken down after a short gain.
Yeah, Reese Simmons on the edge there trying to make a block to free up Lemp. Lemp with some athleticism cuts to the inside and gets short gain on the play of about 3.
Second down and 7 now for Wadsworth.
Brings up second down and 7 now from the 33-yard line.
Schmelzer, sophomore, 5'10", 155-pound quarterback.
I believe that's number 39 on the carry.
Yes.
Which we do not have on the roster, folks. We do apologize.
It's the mystery man.
Schmelzer, 5'10", 155-pound sophomore at quarterback now.
You have Inestroza in that slot at the top of the screen. Number 17 for the Grizzlies is in as well, which is Dawson Mendel, Jr. Schmelzer keeps it. He's met at the line of scrimmage rudely by the North Royalton Bears.
Yeah, they're on the stop. Number 36, Roman Gambino. Also, Stephen Willman. They're on the stop.
We could picture number 51, Jordan Jones, Jr., 6'3", 225 for the Grizzlies. Done a great job at left tackle all year long. Gabe Lucky at left guard. Merritt Fortner at center.
Dawson Mendel in the slot on the top of your screen.
You finish that offensive line out, you got Gabe Lucky and Eli Kaufman as well.
Got a timeout as the play clock was running down. Coach Todd will call a timeout. That will stop the clock here in the third quarter with your Grizzlies leading it 38-0.
Yeah, I definitely, Ernest and Gray and Hall are out. It should be out.
Yeah, I mean, you could put Gray in and do you want to get the 200 yards? But really, that isn't important. What is important is that you get into week number 2 of the postseason healthy.
Yes, absolutely.
Wadsworth 38-0, and not what we expected considering the contest that we had last week. Because when you look at the numbers, they were pretty balanced. But Coach Todd has righted the ship. Whatever was wrong with it last week, and boy, this team is really playing well tonight.
When you tried to steal the honey from the Grizzly Bears, and you may got a little bit last week, I think you woken up angry. I think you said grouchy bear.
Yeah, and I think you've got to remember that feeling of last Friday night, and use that as motivation as you go through the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Here we go, 4th down and 5, and we're lined up to punt it away.
First punt of the night for the Grizzlies. Punt is away. Takes a nice Grizzly bounce away from the North Royalton. There goes a penalty flag. There was a clip. Still on his feet. Made half of the Grizzlies miss and finally taken down. But there's going to be a big penalty. There's a clip in the back.
And there's another penalty. There's going to be multiple fouls on this as the officials will sort out another third
Wow.
Flag comes in. Well, they sort it out. We've just got word that North Ridgeville up 42-0 in the fourth quarter.
Yep. And you've heard me, partner, I'm not a big fan of the expanded playoffs. There's some teams that should just not be in the playoffs. You're looking to get someone hurt that maybe shouldn't be playing in the playoffs, or hurt somebody that is a second round, deep high seed. And
so we got 2 penalties against North Royalton, so both will be assessed against the Bears, and well, that is not what you needed if you're Coach Truly. Got a block in the back, unsportsmanlike, and this has been a tough sled for the North Royalton Bears here tonight at Art Wright. And we talked about how difficult it is to come into an opponent's house back-to-back weeks.
Back-to-back weeks. And, again, you caught the Grizzlies off guard, whatever you want to call it last week, but everybody's sharp and ready to go here tonight. Wasco, I believe is Wasco with the carry. Maybe just back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, getting up off the bottom of that pile is Jude Holler making initial contact, and credit for the tackle for the Grizzlies. No gain on the play.
Most of the starters still in on defense. I see Enestroza in, and like you said, number 90.
Kresawati is still in, yeah.
Other than that, all your other starters are still in at the moment on defense. We got the North Royalton Bears pinned back deep. Swing pass out of the backfield, taken down at the 10-yard line.
Yeah, Troy Myers on the stop.
How about that? Your nose tackle gets the running back out of the backfield on a swing pass and brings him down.
Hey, he's got great lateral movement, does Troy Myers, and he's done this all season long, Robert. He reads well, flows well to the football. He's got great feet.
Brings up 3rd down and 4. The clock is under 2 minutes and ticking with this running clock. Again, only running clock comes in play with 30 points or more on your opponent, and only thing stops us for injuries and timeouts. Okay, Kinney complete near the 20-yard line. Will pick up the 1st down.
Troy Myers just a little bit shy there on time to get to Kenny. He shoots the gap on the left side, and
Piazza with his first catch of the night, I believe.
Yeah, that would be Piazza's first catch of the night. We got enough for a 1st down.
Jaden Gross, number 50, checking in for a defensive lineman, a junior for the Grizzlies.
He's going to line up on that defensive end side that Kresawati was just at.
Wasco breaks it left. Madigan brings him down after he picks up 15 yards.
Yeah, it's tough to outrun Gavin Madigan, but enough for a 1st down for the Bears. Ball's going to be placed at the 35-yard line as we're approaching about 30 seconds remaining here in the 3rd quarter.
Again, watch WCTV's social media to see if we're going to be able to broadcast live next week or not. And Spectrum has the rights in the playoffs, wherever they choose. Kenny looking to throw. Looks left. Goes really deep. Was intended for Piazza, but I think Piazza pulled off his route.
Now Calix Lemp again on the coverage on that far sideline, and he has done a great job. Tom Piazza holding him to just 1 reception, and coming into this week, I mean, Piazza was the top receiver of this Bears offense despite the Calarco performance last week. So great job defensively. And you got to wonder at this point as we go into the 4th quarter, Robert, you want to pitch a shutout here.
Oh, absolutely. The defense definitely wants to. That's after last week, they want to send a message. And the message is loud and clear. Hey, it's on. And they rose to the occasion tonight. Did an excellent job defensively, giving the turnovers early in the game, giving the ball to the Wadsworth offense, which has been stellar once again tonight. Cooper Gray just lightning in a bottle here.
Another matchup tonight in the Suburban League that is of interest, it should be of interest, is Solon at Nordonia.
And earlier I saw it was like 10-0, only Nordonia in the third. Earlier, I don't know where it is now. That's another interesting one. I would love, and I don't know how, I have to look at the playoff bracketing here, but I would love a shot at Highland at some point here. We just want to keep winning, that's all. We'd love to see that rivalry come back.
I was just going to say, that's a fun rivalry.
Yeah. We were talking earlier with the coach, Julie of North Royalton, about, when Green used to be in this league. A little receiver screen, and wow, it did not work at all.
Yeah, Jude Holler out there making contact, coming up off the bottom of the pile. Yeah, Jude Holler.
Yep. You imagine, Green was in this league at one time, but Highland was in the National League. How tough the Suburban League. You got Hudson, Wadsworth, Nordonia.
Yeah, we talked about, your league champ could be 4-3.
Yeah, that'd be tough. And what a tough Suburban League is naturally.
Yeah, a lot of talented football players in the Suburban League. A lot of great programs and great coaches.
Kenny drops back. He's got pressure. Throws. Intercepted by Tommy Hahn, number 13. Intended for Clarko. Intercepted at the 45-yard line of the Grizzlies. Excellent job. Way to end. Last weekend, you felt like Tommy Hahn may have got picked on last week here. Way to come back.
Yeah, I mean, the pressure's coming. Kenny's forced to step up. Gets him out of rhythm, but the coverage by Tommy Hahn is just blanket coverage on Kalarko. And with a big interception, how about Tommy Hahn? A couple of big defensive plays. So you go back to the back of the end zone in the second quarter where he gets a pass breakup and ends a drive for the Bears. And here, an interception.
Earlier in the game, he forced a fumble.
Yep.
Covered by
Jacob Ernest. I'm sorry, it was Brady O'Connor.
Brady O'Connor. Smeltzer keeps it. He comes up the 50-yard line, picks up 5 on first down. Clock is down under 10 minutes in the game.
Benjamin DeTavio on the stop for North Royalton. Looks like we may start to see some substitutions for the Bears defensively.
Like I said, Dawson Mendel in there, number 31. Colton Mellon's in there, 82, I believe it is. That's high snap. Smeltzer does a great job just bringing it in. He gets back to the line of scrimmage, maybe picks up a half yard. They did a fantastic job reaching up and getting that.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of Candola's.
Number 39, we finally found out that's Noah Reese in there.
Yeah, his handling of the snap reminded me of Candola's catch last week when he went behind himself to catch the pass from Kinney for a touchdown.
The snap was a little high there. Smeltzer does a great job getting it. And getting it, I think he tripped up Noah Reese, number 39, the running back for the Grizzlies. It's going to bring up 4th down and 6. They're going to go for it. Ball's on the 49-yard line of the Grizzlies.
Donnie Bettis is on the left side in the game now.
I see number 83.
Another high snap.
Ostrovich. Oh, Smeltzer trying to corral the snap. He throws, intended for Ostrovich, number 83. Really just thrown it out of bounds. Does a great job saving a lot of yards there.
Yeah, that's a really smart play by Smeltzer because, I mean, it's 4th down. I mean, you've got to find a way to get that ball out of your hands. And best case scenario, worst case scenario is to throw it out of bounds.
Bounds and turnover on downs, that's fine. Shutouts still intact, 38-0 with just a little over 8 minutes left in the game with the running clock.
Yeah, Krezawadi will check back in. Also checking in the game is number 25, Quincy Wade. So a lot of backups now in for Wadsworth. Number 41, I don't have him on a roster.
Number 28, Damon Jackson's in there as well. Number 18, which is Adam Heckel,
Number
senior.
10, Grady Hughes, I believe, is in.
Hand off to Wasco. Bounces it right. 41 of the Grizzlies brings them down. 41. We don't have a 41 on the roster.
Nice open field tackle there,
Yes, it
but
was.
good gain on first down for Wasco. Brings up 2nd down and 2 now for the Bears at the 41-yard line of the Grizzlies. This one's been all Wadsworth tonight at Art Wright.
Number 22, Dom Jackson, is in there in the defensive back position as well. Kenny looking to throw. Pumps fakes, going deep. He's got good coverage and caught. Touchdown. Hey, that was not bad coverage there.
Now on the coverage was number 25. That's Quincy Wade, and Piazza with the touchdown reception for the Bears. That's a 41-yard reception. Kenny, plenty of time. And just a go route down the sideline and ball perfectly placed into Piazza's arms. And so North Royalton on the board, 38-6. Clock continues to run. Sunjaveric on to kick the PAT.
Kick is good. So 7 points by North Royalton with just a little over 6 minutes left in the game. 38-7, so we're still up by 31 points, so the running clock is still intact.
31 points was the difference at halftime, so Grizzlies and the Bears playing even here in the second half. But again, I mean, this one's in control. Wadsworth will win this football game with 6:06 remaining. We will go to North Ridgeville next Friday evening. And again, as we've mentioned previously, stay tuned to social media posts on WCTV. It will let us know how you can catch the game next week at North Ridgeville if you cannot make it.
And scrolling through some of the scores I'm seeing, I see Hudson up 23-7 against Boardman.
Yeah, that's a 9 versus 8 seed.
Let's see here. Avon going to be a winner, 47-13 over North Olmsted. And we're here in 42-6 final at North Ridgeville.
So we do know where we will be.
Looks like Talmadge will go down in defeat tonight.
What about that matchup between 2 6 and 4 teams? Uniontown, Lake High School, and North Canton Hoover.
North Canton Hoover. Let's see here. Highland will win 35-7 in the third.
So Sunjaveric will kick this one away with 6:04 remaining in what appears to be the season, the final game here at Art Wright this year.
Taken by Troy Myers, breaks down the right sideline and runs over one North Royalton Bear. Nordonia will win 24-0 late in the fourth over Solon.
Troy Myers looking to run right through Logan Strait of the Bears. That's what happens when a nose tackle is on your kickoff return team.
Gets a running start. You don't see nose tackles that fast. Like we said, excellent job.
There was Tyler Rolls on your screen there for North Royalton. 1st and 10 now from the 25-yard line.
Uniontown Lake 28, North Canton Hoover 0.
Wow. Schmelzer will give and run right up the middle. Short gain on the play. That is Will Reese on the carry. 2nd down and 7 now. Clock continues to run, and you would imagine the Grizzlies likely can run this one out.
Yep, under 5 minutes left in the...
Empty backfield now for the Grizzlies. 3 receivers to the top of your screen. Now
Smeltzer.
5 receivers.
Smeltzer just keeps it, runs left. He's taken down.
Yeah, he'll get stopped there by, I believe, number 44. That is Benjamin Rotavio. 3rd down and 5 now for Wadsworth.
Green will be victorious tonight, too. 28-7 against Painesville Riverside late in the 3rd.
That makes it 3rd down and 5 now for the Grizzlies. Wadsworth 3rd yard line.
Number 17 is Dawson Mendel. Noah Reese, you see him in motion. Flip-flopping sides. Mets. Smeltzer just keeps it. He looked to throw originally, then just keeps it. Clock under 4 minutes in the game.
So that brings up 4th down, and it's like the Grizzlies will punt this one away. They'll let the clock run all the way down, play clock at 28 seconds. So we'll be under 3 minutes remaining in this one.
I see number 72 in there again. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we do not have him on the roster either.
So 10 seconds left on the play clock, and we are going to run this at 4th and 5. We'll let the play clock run down, and we'll call timeout.
Yep.
And we'll probably get the punt team on.
Yep.
Robert and I are absolutely delighted that you've joined us not only here tonight, but all season long on WCTV. We appreciate all of the hard work that the folks at WCTV do to bring these home football games to you each and every home game. So John Bernard downstairs in the van, Joanna Perino upstairs in the camera, Abe is upstairs, and Aiden Uzinski down on the field for us, bringing you all of the images. And we are joined here in the booth tonight by broadcaster, a legend. We'll call him a legend. Jeff Phelps is here as he's calling the game for Spectrum Sports. And had a chance to talk with Jeff at halftime, sharing a couple stories about some Cleveland legend broadcasters, Joe Tate, Neb Chandler, and the late Jim Donovan.
I tell you, we've been blessed in this state with some not only just great coaches, great players, but legendary commentators and broadcasters. Absolutely.
Yeah, we also talked a little bit about Howie Chiswick. You know, Howie used to be the PA voice of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Jack Dinwiddie on the punt, I believe. High punt off his foot, bounces out, and looks like maybe North Royalton will take over near their own 46-yard line. Somewhere in there was where the ball went out of bounds.
Yeah, just, you know, if you're looking at the clock here in the second half, up by 30 points, the clock does not stop on change of possession. Injuries and timeouts only, so that clock will continue to run. And
yep,
North Royalton,
most likely the last possession of the game here tonight. North Royalton is coming out. Senior Joe Kinney going to come out at the helm.
Yeah, he and Jack Buckholtz.
Actually, no, he's not coming out. Who is checking in number 4 at quarterback?
Quinn.
Hand off to number 25.
Cameron Saul on the carry.
William Wirt, number 75, checks in for the Grizzlies. Again, number 8, Joseph Davis, senior, is in there as well right now.
Short gain on the play. That'll bring up a 3rd down as we are approaching just 1 minute left here in this opening round of the state playoffs. Division II, Region 6, the 15th ranked Wadsworth Grizzlies will move on.
Nicholas Dean checks in, sophomore. 6 foot, 235-pound lineman. Handoff The Saul again, number 25.
Cameron Saul again, the ball carrier.
And probably got one more play.
Yeah, these are all backups now in the ball game now as we're just at 30 seconds left.
Yeah, we were talking North Royalton coach Julie tonight. 21st season. He said, as a head coach. Now, he's been coaching for 30-some years, he said, assistant and everything. That's incredible.
All with the same program.
Yes.
And that will do it, folks, as the Wadsworth Grizzlies return to form in week number 11.
And this is the time to come into form in the playoffs. Did an excellent job rebounding, refocusing. They looked great. Hey, week 2 of the playoffs. We'll be in North Ridgeville next week against the Rangers.
Coach Todd has talked all year about the goal of winning in all 3 phases of the game, and I think tonight they certainly achieved that with this 38-7 victory.
Absolutely. Well done by the Grizzlies. Coaching staff, Coach Todd, the players, refocusing, getting ready to go. Hey, this could be a fun run, partner.
It's going to be a fun week of practice for these Grizzlies as they will play to live another game next Friday night at North Ridgeville against the Rangers, and that's a good football program in North Ridgeville. So, folks, if you can, we ask that you travel with the team. If you cannot make it to the game next Friday night, again, pay attention to the social media posts from WCTV. They will provide you with all of the information and the links on how you can watch the game next week. And as my partner said, if Spectrum actually picks up the game, they do have rights through the Ohio High School Athletic Association to broadcast those games live. Robert, any final thoughts before we say goodnight?
Excellent effort by everybody on the Grizzlies sideline there tonight. It was great to see them come back to form. Hey, I think maybe that was I hate to say a good loss last week. No one wants that loss, especially undefeated, but refocused your team, getting re-energized for, hey, maybe a nice little run here in the playoffs. Yeah, and it looks like they're extremely healthy, this Grizzly football team. We hope Ryan Stoops can come back and play next week, but he was on crutches. But you got to stay healthy as you go through the playoffs. So once again, we want to thank John Bernard downstairs, our producer and director, Joanna Perino, Abe upstairs with the cameras, and on the field, Aiden Uzinski. For Robert Rickenbacker, my partner, I am Mike Elkins. The final tonight, Wadsworth 38, North Royalton 7. So long, Wadsworth. Good night.
Watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.